Welcome to Horton Implants Oral Bites with your hosts, Kate Bootman, Will Murphy, and Carl Horton.
It's a bit slow today.
Oh,
Nice.
oh boys, you haven't let me down.
Excellent.
I'm so pleased. Well, everybody, you can see nothing looks unusual this evening. We've got the same panelists, and I mean, can't you tell? We have the lovely Will Murphy and the lovely Carl Horton. This is such an improvement, boys.
Why, thank you.
This is such an improvement. And before anybody puts that pun in, yes, I've dressed up too. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Hope you've had a fantastic week. Cannot believe that we are the end of October, starting November next week. Don't forget to change your clocks this weekend. Boys, how are we?
Good, thank you very much for asking.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. I'm not going to take you serious again.
All ready
Will.
for Sunday?
I mean,
A little bit of trick or treating.
A lot.
Get some of that decay going because I need those teeth to come out so I can put some more implants in.
We'll be handing out sweets.
Yeah, yeah, stickier the better.
My goodness, boys, how have your week been? Will Murphy, how has it been?
Yeah, good. Even better with a 4-day week, as you know, being so organised, having my diary to hand. And yeah, very busy. Wednesday in particular, down in Hertfordshire. We were pretty full on surgery day. A few tricky cases. One of those very small window sinus grafts with a simultaneous placement, like a single 6 with roots all around. So, trying to get everything on the money. But and I did a lateral window. I thought the floor of the sinus looked a little bit humpy and bumpy, as I call it, technically speaking. And so I thought we'll go in lateral window. I was going to use, I don't know if you've used it, the little kit that we both share, the Crescent kit. Have you got the little side window cutting thing?
Yeah. I
haven't used it. It's a bit like a desk burr, isn't it?
Yes, with a spring loaded.
A little spring loaded thing. So I didn't use that. I don't know. I need to psych myself up for that one. Have you used it?
Good? I have. Yeah. It took me a lot longer to do it than we did with the Dask.
Right.
And it's got the depths on, so it's got, I think, I can't remember the depths, 1, 2, 3 maybe millimeters at what the spring cuts at. But for me it was just took a little bit of getting used to, because with the Dask your feedback is direct. With that, because it's spring loaded, you're relying more on the spring to get to depth than you are on the feedback.
Right.
So I was looking at the CBCT thinking, right, okay, that's a 2 mil bit of bone that I need to remove. So I'm going to pick that one, and it's going to trifine to 2 mils, and then the spring will cut in, and then it'll cut the nice little circular window. I found it, and I'm sure it's just learning curve. I found it much more complex to widen the window. Whereas with the Dask kit, it's almost, you can make your window and then kind of do that kind of polishing movement and open it. And I thought with this, it was almost like the old, when you're doing the blocks and you're cutting, you trifine, and then joining things up. Is that a cup of coffee coming my way? No? Yes.
Do you mean like the sort of the Audi badge? Way of doing a sinus graft, I think.
Yeah. A lot like that.
So I just went straight to my straight hand piece and trusty. I like a little round diamond to cut the window. So there you go. That all went well. Nice, money shot X-rays we call it. All looked the part. So that was good. Yeah. And a sort of tricky case with a very atrophied mandible. Probably like a last chance saloon for this lady to have some form of retention for a denture. So the other thing, of course, when you get that is the mental foramen quite high on the ridge. So cutting your flap is like a little bit hairy, scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I had my game face on for that one, and obviously then you've got a lot of muscle and firm tissue to try and reflect. So yeah, that was concentration time to get to. I used 3.3s for that. Yeah.
So what did you do? Did you kind of go around it? Yeah.
I went slightly more on the lingual side.
Yeah.
Which again was tricky because she had a dry mouth and very friable soft tissue.
Right.
So, you know, it was kind of curveballs coming at you from everywhere.
Yeah.
But, you know, we got there. You know, I was pretty happy. Got to 10 mil 3x3s in the canine
nice.
regions. Yeah, I think afterwards I was like, I think this is, you know, going to be as good as we can get. So, yeah, fingers crossed. That was all right. And then a few other, you know, straightforward, as they say, implants.
Yeah.
Which is always good, you know, once you've had a couple of tricky ones, just having a couple of 4s and 6s to knock in just to see you through the day. So yeah, good. All good. And yeah, and a day off today. So that obviously I could go to Home Bargains and get the essentials.
Cull a couple of rabbits.
Cull a couple of rabbits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Carl Horton, how's your week been?
Not as exciting as that. I was down in Hereford, had a nice little angle corrected case, which was a lovely surprise. So that's beautiful cranes. So, you know, just popped in, but you know, it didn't take me very long to realize they were angle corrected. But I do want to thank the lab for popping it on the ticket. But what they did do, bless them, is they left the angled solution packet in there. So after I did try the driver in and thought this doesn't feel quite right, I did find the packet and thought, oh, AS angled solution there, lovely. Okay, yeah. So we'll get the elusive angled driver out, dust it off.
Yeah. I've done that. I've been going, this screwdriver just doesn't fit. What's going on?
Yeah.
And then you go, if you placed your implants better, you know,
yeah.
then it would have fitted. Yeah. Oh, never mind.
But that's what confused me slightly, because they were actually all right. So I was thinking, but I know what the reason they actually did it was because the 6 was tilted. So if they angle corrected it, just gives them a little bit more of a better width of the porcelain, the zirconia, between the restoration and the 6, rather than thinning out the zirconia to the abutment. So I got why they did it. I just would have preferred to have known. But anyway, it was fine. It was all lovely. Lots of I was with John Lee and another 400 people today. John Lee, one of the Wealth Dragons. So we started that at 6 o'clock this morning. So it's been a fun.
What's
fun
this
day.
all about then?
It's kind of building up the how to build the courses and get the content right and get it aimed in the right direction. So, you know, using some of the software, like I don't know whether you use Otter, but I've been using it on and off now for a few years. But it's a little bit of software you can have on your desktop or your phone. No, it's not an animal. Well, it is an animal, but it's really intelligent.
The only Otter I know is Tarka.
It's not Tarka.
No.
So what it does is it listens to you and then it transcribes what you're saying into words. So if I've had the odd consultation where I've wished I'd had it on, where the conversation between the patient and you is transcribed, but it actually understands the difference between your voice and the nurse's voice and the patient's voice. So it will transcribe all three, and then you can cut and paste them into your notes. Like I use Karoku, which Martin has mentioned quite a lot, which I love, but that really is a drop-down fill-in list. But this is a backup, and you can have your phone on or you can have your software on. But it's not just for that. It's also for other little things like if I'm writing some content on a lecture and I'm talking to somebody and I want that transcribed, rather than having to kind of send it off and get somebody to do it, which can be quite a lot of money. You just play the recording and this software will transcribe it, and then you can cut and paste it into a document. So
would that depend on accents? I know that sounds really daft, but no, I wasn't being funny then.
Oh, I thought you were. I thought you were taking the mickey out of me and my.
But we can get some mileage out of it. So
yeah, if I say the word truck and up, then it just gets all garbled. Yeah, it does. I mean, it seems to. It works for me, and it seems to pick up I've used it in Wales, and it doesn't seem to have an issue with most things. It gets a little bit lost on some of the more complex words. So if you start talking jargon,
can it work out the Welsh accent? Can it do tidy now by ear like?
Yeah.
Come here. Come here.
Well, that's that then.
What it was, see. It was this implant, see.
Thing is, it transcribes that so well.
Went in the wrong angle, see, and I had to go and find the right driver.
It's just one of those little things that it's also what I did want to say though is have you had your scanner yet?
Yes, it's arrived. So today I think because I wasn't in, obviously, I delegated the unpacking and checking all the bits whilst they're on a Teams call to somebody from Trios or whatever, and then they're going to coordinate some training time.
Great, because I mean that's really helpful. One of the things that because you've had a bashing, I think, from last time and me, and there's lots of little tips.
I almost sent it back.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. So one of the things that I did when we first got it was I scanned every single consultation. So even for the cases where they would require an extraction, and then come back and maybe see me again, we scanned everybody. Every single patient that came in, we scanned them for the consultation side, and that proved to be really good because it taught me how to use the scanner very, very quickly. It was a very exponential learning curve, very fast, but it also really highlighted to the patients, and you can talk on the screen. What I didn't expect as knock-on effect is your consultations take a bit longer because they get very interested in what you can show them. But in terms of taking impressions and things like that, I found actually it's as quick, if not sometimes quicker. Certainly once I've got the gist of it. The other thing that I would certainly say to anybody that's going to get one, and including you, Will, is when you autoclave the tips, if you put a little bit of gauze and some cotton wool rolls into the mirror side before it goes through the autoclave, that just protects the mirror from degrading as fast. And it stops the water from condensing on the mirror, because that can sometimes have an effect. Put your tip on nice and early so that the scanner tip can warm up. So it's nice and ready for the scan, so that when the patient breathes, it doesn't steam up. And then also just make sure your lens is clean, because I've had one or two cases where I've looked at the mirror and then the nurse has been going, it wasn't working very well for Neil either. And then I'll look at the actual lens and they've put a bit of wipe on that and it's just left some of the smear marks. So it's not as fast. It still gets there, but because you've got to move it around more for it to pick up the detail, you're thinking this isn't acting as efficient as it could do. Other little things as well. I mean, Neil, when he uses
move the patient light.
Yeah, Neil likes the light off. He likes to do it in the dark. Myself, I just take the patient light out of the way, and that's enough. And it seems to work quite nicely, so that you haven't got the patient light glaring off of the teeth.
Right. Okay.
And it's also the speed at which you do it. So my methodology is slightly different. So when I'm sort of getting the people that are helping me, so I really like the nurses to use the scanners, and then while they're doing that, I might be tapping up the notes. Actually, I'm not. I'm just sitting there, just looking at the phone, checking
how
emails,
many likes you've got,
playing that little game where you get rid of the bricks. I have to put it on silent, otherwise it makes a noise. So what
I play Snake on my old Nokia.
I do it lingually first, so I'll put it and I'll use it at the back and I'll put it parallel, and then I'll grab a little bit of the occlusal surface and then I'll go back again. Where some people will take it lingually and then they'll go all the way over to the buccal side, but I'll capture a little bit of the occlusal surface, then come forward, and then I'll go back. So it's almost like a sort of back number 8, 7, 6, then occlusally, and then all the way buccally, and then come forward. And as you're going to the anterior teeth, I'll bring it up so it's at 90 degrees. So parallel at the back, 90 degrees at the front, tip it over, grab the occlusal surface, and then use it to retract. So actually use the scanner tip to retract as well, or get somebody else to help me do a bit of retraction. The problem is when somebody else is trying to get the mirror in or a finger in, you start scanning fingers and mirrors and all sorts of stuff, which can get a bit interesting.
And what about, does everything have to be dry? Do you have to sort of...
Do you know what? Not massively. It's more important in the area where you've got your implant. So if you dry the tissues, that area has to have very intricate detail. So if they've got lots of saliva in the lower six, for example, if you've got a space there, it tends to collect. So I'll just get a cotton wool roll or some gauze and then dry it and scan around it. You get the odd patient that does seem to fill up with saliva like it's a fountain. But usually, you know, you can manage. I've used the Optigrate sometimes just to help out. And then with the scan bodies, you can buy lots and lots of different scan bodies for the same implant system. So the Medentica ones I find work really nice for me. And what they've done is they've got a very light matte coating and then a number on the side. And the scanner seems to pick those up really nicely. The plastic ones are nice, but they are they're not single use, but they say they're single use. They're not single use. They work for 3 or 4 or 5 autoclave sessions. And if I'm a little bit worried, so say that the healing abutment is quite deep, I'll put the scanner on, the scan body on, and I'll screw it down, and I'll take an X-ray. And even with the plastic ones, you can see that the screw is seated fully down. And that just gives me a bit of reassurance that the scan flag's fully seated, because there's been 1 or 2 times where I thought it's locked because you turn it and it doesn't turn, it locks just like your impression posts. But then it wasn't quite fully down, and then the crowns come back, and then the tooth is a little shorter than you expect it to be. So what we all do, you grind the tooth adjacent down so it matches.
Just level it all off. It's fine.
It's a fantastic visual tool, isn't it, for the patients?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, for them to actually see, I think it's fantastic.
What's the sort of largest span bridge you'll do?
Well, I have tried full arch unsuccessfly a couple of times, and I'm sure people seem to manage it. There are people out there that do it and successfully do it, but like Evo have said, I think that when they're doing their full arch, I've got to admit they're doing pterygoids all the way across, so that's a big span. So I think the biggest span that I've successfully done was 10 units. So 5 to 5. But what I did with that is I had all the scan bodies in place and good retraction and really dry, so the tissues were quite easily identified. When I've had issues, it's like that patient you mentioned, the tissues can be sometimes they're quite friable, and it just struggles to identify where it is in the jaw. So the healing abutments were quite prominent. So it's kind of getting the scanner to understand where it is. What some people have done is they've got some composite and they've got some flowable composite and put that on the tissues sometimes, so the scanner can pick that up. So there's sorts of little tricks that you can do.
Tips and tricks.
Yeah. So, you know, you've got your healing abutments on, you can put little blobs of composite, just extending it across, then do your scan, and then take your healing abutments off. Obviously the composite's not on the screw hole. Yeah. And then do your scan flags and then put that back on again. And that should work quite nicely.
Okay.
And then again, getting a good image of the buccal aspects really helps on the occlusal when they're doing the bite. And if you kind of don't quite grab a decent amount of information, then you can manually align it. And the way they've adapted that is much better now as well. So it's much easier to manually align the occlusion. It used to be a bit of a pain, because you used to get you used to have to put your dot on and it would be the same image, the same color. But now it kind of goes into 2 images,
right?
And it shows you your scan on one side, and you can kind of go, oh, there and there, and look what matches, and it kind of puts the 2 together and then locates them. That's a real nice update they've done on that, actually. Okay. I find it, before I was probably occasionally having to rescan the bite. Now it works manually, and I don't think I've had an issue with it at all since they've done the update.
Nice.
It's a very pleasing sound when you do get the bite.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
It's like that. Ching. It's like some money's gone in your wallet.
Yay.
And do you not persevere? That's, if anybody said to me, what else you would do, I would say persevere with it, because so many people pop it back in the cupboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little bit like I was saying to Amit. I mean, we were given it at Newtown to use by my dentist. They brought one for the health centre, and it was just a lovely thing to play with at first.
Yeah.
But because we were using it on all the consultations, then the learning and we I think Mo came and taught us. It's not Mo, is it? His surname's Mo, but his first name is, oh, it escapes me. Nah. Anyway, lovely chap.
And how do you store all these images, and how do you pick them up again to have a little play with?
So what we did is we created ourselves a lab. So we did our own lab, and we send the images to our lab, which is basically on the laptop itself. Right. So it goes to their server, then it comes back from the server to us. But what you can also do is you can right click and you can save it as an STL, a DICOM file, or the 3Shape file. Right. So I save them as STL files. The STL file has no coloration to it. So it's just that gray white image, but it's still a 3D image. And if you've got a Mac, you can kind of put it into preview and it turns it around and does all sorts of things with it. But if you want to, you can save it as a 3Shape file. The only difference between the 3Shape file is the lab or somebody has to have 3Shape software to be able to view those images, whereas STL files are universal. So you can use that anywhere, and that includes when you're importing it into your co-diagnostics or your Blue Sky Horizon. Blue Sky Plan. Blue Sky Horizons is a website designer, and the other one that I can't remember the name of again, Implant Studio, and or that one that I still can't remember the name of. The other software, the Korean software that has gone out of my head again, that I use now and again. Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah. Gentlemen, I'm going to leave you talking scans.
Lovely.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Everybody out there, have a fantastic Halloween, and see you all next week.
Yeah.
See you,
cheers. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye. Off on holiday again.
I know. Makes up all these things about doing it for the kids, but really, just off on holiday.
Naughty boys.
God.
Yeah. Right.
So, and can you say if you're on a different, you're sitting at home on your Mac or something, can you go into a cloud somewhere and drag it up?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's excellent. You can even have it on your phone. The phone has a limited number of, say you've done 20 scans in the week, you might only be able to view 7 of those scans. Right. Certainly on my phone anyway. Right. But if you go onto your desktop, you can view all the scans, all the history. It shows you everything you've done. And
that's going into a cloud.
Yeah. So platform. that's the 3Shape portal.
And will that work? Does it have to be Windows or can it be on your Mac?
No, it can be anything. It's online. So you can use it on any browser that it supports. And it'll tell you the scan, the patient's details. You can look at it in 2D and 3D. You can download the images as a sort of like not an STL from there, but you can download it as an image, sort of like a PDF image.
Yeah.
You can then also see your lab prescriptions, and you can also see, I'm pretty sure, whether there's any messages from the lab. Yes, you can do that, and whether it's been accepted or not. Or you have to go into the software. And again, when you go into the software, as long as you're not changing laptops, so I suggest you just stick with the one laptop. Then it's on there as well. So it's all linked. It's very nice, very good workflow.
Yeah. So I can, like on multiple laptops, have a look at stuff.
Yeah. So if you're not on your 3Shape laptop, but you've done a scan and you've uploaded it, as long as you've sent it, to wherever you've sent it, whether that's your lab or whether that's the lab technician, then you can look at it from your portal at home.
Right. Okay.
which is really good sometimes. So
Yeah.
so let's say you've taken it down to Harpenden and you've done some work, and you just can't be bothered to get your dongle out or whatever, or you just log in and have a little look. And it helps sometimes when I'm kind of just reviewing one or two of the cases. There might be something, I'm just doing a treatment plan letter, I might be thinking, was there something happening over there that I wanted to talk about? And you can see it on the image. So it's, I much prefer that to having the chart. The chart's all great, but when you actually can visually see, oh yeah, the 6 was tilted, that would mean so you can just add a little bit more flavor and information to your content. But that's just me. It's kind of sad.
There you go. No, it's all good. I've got to, get in and do it now.
Yeah, and the scan bodies, I think they're all pretty good, but I just got more success with the Medentica ones.
Well, my lab's actually bought some for me already. They're obviously getting a bit nervous that I might be, using somebody else. So it's like, have some scan flags.
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, the other thing as well is they've got to be able to download the right library. So if the library's not available for them, then and the libraries they're not always updated, shall we say? Because there's been one or two when I've put a scan flag in and lab have gone, what's this?
What is it?
And I've just forgotten that they actually need the library to be able to understand what the scan body is. Yeah. It's just like, oh yeah, of course, because you're just so used to scanning and thinking, what? Oh yeah, there's a lab at the end of this. Yeah, they've got to get this right.
Okay.
I mean, one of the other issues that a couple of the labs mentioned to me is that you can have issues with the interocclusal surfaces, so the adjacent surfaces.
Right.
So sometimes getting the scan of the mesial and the distal aspects, you might just miss. It might look okay on your first sweep of the scan, but then go back and have a little look and just check. What it does now on the 3Shape is it actually has a little yellow marker saying you need more data here and here.
Okay.
And it'll put little points on.
Right.
Which sometimes you need to do. Sometimes you just think, oh, no, that's miles away. It's not.
Not
don't worry. But it's exciting stuff for you, mate.
Excellent. Well, I think you and I will talk more about this. You can share my trials and tribulations and
be a pleasure.
Give me some tips and pointers and some scan hacks.
Yeah, certainly. Nice. More than happy to, mate. More than happy to.
Cheers, fella. Right, how are we doing time wise?
Yeah, I think we're there.
We hit the numbers.
We have.
Doing any Halloweeny stuff this weekend?
I've got these courses. It's a 3-day course. It starts at 6 every day, and then finished at 3ish today, I think. So I've got that again tomorrow and the day after.
So this is like a marketing thing, is it? Or
it's kind of like business. It's to help kind of businesses, and we want to
not just dental.
No, everything. Okay. I think he made his fortune in real estate, but that's not what I'm on there for. That we want to kind of streamline a couple of the courses which you've been involved in. Some of that we want to take them online. And get that platform right and get the content right. And a lot of the stuff that we were doing, we were repeating a little bit of it, and we were finding it wasn't really as good as we would have liked. And we weren't using some of the right software. We weren't using some of the more accessible platforms. So it's kind of listening to what other people have used and what he's recommending, and then how to get it so it looks and sounds professional.
Okay.
And just getting the reach out there as well, because we're looking at other countries as well now, because we've kind of been asked a few times. So it's learning how to transcribe it into a different language, and very, very interesting.
Okay.
So we'll see. We're going to go universal.
You're just going to learn Japanese.
Yeah, we're doing a Mandalorian,
Ewok. Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, but yeah.
Going to learn what scan flag is in Chinese.
Yeah, Klingon as well.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, we're going for the whole lot. Yeah, yeah. It's. I mean, the fascinating thing is you can actually pay somebody that speaks like Mandarin,
Yeah.
and you send them your transcription
Yeah.
audio file. They translate it and send it back.
Well, obviously, it's the sort of stuff that, say, YouTube uses probably already, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes if your sound's off on your phone, you can see you can see the translation, not always accurately, but you can see I think it still struggles with Brummie a little bit, you know.
It does a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, bison and basin, you know.
Truck and up.
Truck. Yeah, can't work out
Yeah.
or yam, yeah. Excellent. Look forward to that, mate.
Brilliant. Yeah, how about you, mate? You trick or treating?
Don't think so. I don't think we got Jack this weekend, but I'm gonna hang this little lady outside the front door.
Nice.
And I think we've got the usual little bag of sweets to
Brilliant.
create some carries in the kids of Harborne.
I mean, because of COVID, we didn't do it either last year or the year before. I can't remember which. But there's a house not too far away, and they just were fantastic. So I took Seb there a couple of years ago, and he has one of these little kind of morph suits on with a couple of jaws that come out. It looks great.
Oh, nice.
And we went to this house, and it was all draped up in all the cobwebs and everything like that. And then the lady that opened the door was just dressed as this witch, and it was fantastic. But she didn't have anything with her. There was no candy or anything like that. And then she said, if you turn to the left, and this window opened and all this fog came out, and then this monster's hand came out with a bag of sweets. So I thought that was superb. It was really good. And then as soon as that came out, kind of all the thunder and lightning started. And it was really, really good. I thought
serious. That's serious.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you probably get a bit of street competition, don't you, for all that sort of stuff? Like you do at Christmas, you know, you see these roads where people are just trying to outdo each other with decorations, you know. There's one up the road that's gone up already. They've literally
for Christmas.
Yeah, the reindeers are out.
No
all
way.
The house, yeah, properly, 100%.
Got to get the money's worth, I guess. I suppose.
Might as well, you know, get it out there. Hey ho. Right.
Oh well. Yeah, mate.
All right, fella.
Have a great one.
Good to chat.
Likewise.
See you, everybody.
Yeah, take it easy. Bye, everybody. Oh yeah, forgot about that. Yeah, bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.